Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be diving into Git, one of the most important tools for a developer, whether you are working solo on a project or collaborating with a team. If you have ever felt lost trying to track code changes, share code with others, or manage a project, Git is the solution you have been looking for. In this video, I will walk you through the basics of Git so you can start using it confidently on your project. So let's get started. So Git is a version control which enable us to make changes which enable us to track the changes we made in our projects. So in order to initialize the Git repo, we use the command git init. Okay, before then, let's create our working directory. We need a working directory. So I will create one by using the command make directory. Let me call the name control. Okay, let me call it version control. Version control is better. Version underscore control. Then enter. We've created it. So in order for, let's change our directory. Let's move into the version control. We use the command cd then the name version underscore control. So this is our working directory now. So let's initialize Git. The command is git init initialize empty Git repository. So we've already initialize Git. So let's create a file, because when we are building, we'll be building inside, we'll be writing our code inside a file. Let's create a file. Let's call this one file.text. Remember the command to create a file is touch, so you must type touch then space then the file name dot enter. Let's use this command git status. Git status enable us to check the status of our file, if our file is being tracked or not. So you can see on track file, the color is very important, red. In order to enable or allow Git to track our file, we have to put it in the staging area. How do you put it in the staging area? We use the command git add then the name of the file. Then it will start tracking the changes that occur in this file. So before I start tracking the changes that occur in this file, I actually want to put something inside this file. I'll be using Nano. Nano is actually a text editor that is inbuilt inside Git, the same with Vim. So I will type nano, then the name of my file, file.text. Then I press enter. So I will call what should I write? Okay, the introduction to version control. So in order for me to save, I'll use Control O. You can see down here. Then file name to write yes. So I'll press enter. Then I'll exit Control X. So I've already exit. Let me clear my screen. I'll use the command clear. Then let's check. Let's use the command cat. Cat is stand for concatenate. So I want to check the content of the file. Then I'll type the name of the file, file dot txt. Then I'll press enter. So this is the content of the file. Let's check our git status again. Git status. Now Git has not yet started to track it, so let's put this file inside the staging area where Git can start tracking the changes that we'll be making on this file. So in order to stage it, we use the command git add, then the name of the file. Let's clear our screen. I like my screen clear. Then ls. Not ls. Git status again. Let's see. If it is green, that means that it was successful. There's already in the staging area. But if it was red, that means it's still on track. Let's check out. Let's find out. Good. You can see. In order to stay on stage, we can use this command. Then the name of the file. On stage, but now Git is already monitoring anything in it. So now, for us to go further, let's commit this. Let's write a message to it. Git commit. Then the message, let's call it our initial commit. Initial commit. Good. Then you press enter. Good. You can see. So it's telling us that we have one file changed. One is good. So let's use this command git log. So the git log will provide us with the ID of the commit, the author, and date. I'm sure by now everybody have their git batch installed on their computer. During the configuration, you will be required to write your name and also put in your email. This is mine, and this is when I'm actually writing this code. You can see it's the year 2025. So that's our first commit. So let's make changes to this file. In order to make change to this file, let's go back to the file again. Let's use the editor we used before, nano. Then the name of the file dot, you press enter. Good. Now let's call this version. Let's call it introduction to the terminal. We call it introduction to the terminal. And now we use Control O to save it. Then we exit Control X. So we already make change. So now let's check the difference between our first. Okay, now let's check the difference between our first commit. Let's check the difference. Let's use git diff. Then the name of the file. Let's check the difference. And enter. Good. You can see it's telling us that the previous one was, we've removed this, the introduction to version control. You can see it is in red, and this is what we've placed. Let's clear our screen. Let me put, let me type it again. Git diff, then the name of the file dot text. Then we'll press enter. You can see, and this is the new one. So as it is like this, this is what we, this is the new version that we've already done. But if we want to go back to the previous one, what can we do? There's a simple command called git check out. It will return it back to the previous commit. Supposing we make changes in our code, that means that the initial code, we've written our front end code. With front end we use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I will explain on that in future video. Supposing we've written some code and we were working on the code, and we discovered that the code was not working properly, and we want to start afresh from where we came from. This is what we will just do. This is just it. We just use git checkout, then we'll call the name of the file dot txt. Good. Now we use let's check the content. Now let's use cat. Remember the meaning of cat. So cat, then the name of the file that we are trying to check. You can see that we've returned back to the previous the previous commit that we wrote, despite the fact that we changed it to the introduction to terminal. Now we've returned back. You can see how easy it is. So in this short video we spoke about version control, which is Git, which enables us to track our code. We talk about how to initialize the repo. After initializing it with the git init, we talked about how to put our file in the staging area by using the command git add. After that, we also spoke about putting a commit message. Commit message is very important. Putting the commit message, then we wrote git commit, and the message we wrote initial, we call it our initial commit. After that, we check the status to check if our code is staged or not staged. And I told you that once it is red, that means that it's on track. But once it is green, that means that it's already been staged. That means that Git is already tracking all the changes in our code. And we talked about the Git log. Git log has to tell us the dialog, to give us more information about our file, the email, the author, and the ID. And we also talked about git checkout. Git checkout enables us to go back to our previous commit. So that is all for this video. Please, if you are new to this channel, please endeavor to subscribe. Thank you.